opportunity for Charlotte off the set piece. It is going to be the man out of Poland. The shot, yes! And it's gone in. It's an Olympico. Yoshiki pulls it back. The shot, and another goal. And look who's coming on. Ryan Romero. Here's Romero. Hit the shot, kid. Goal! For the city, for the crown.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Offsides Podcast, the official podcast of Charlotte Football Club. I am your host, Andres Robledo, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, Pablo the Mountain Man Robledo. Pablo, how are the mountains?
Back at it again in the mountains. Mountains were good. I don't know why I started off that way. Yeah, we went to, I think it was like the Smoky Mountains. Then went and visited some family, stayed the night. So overall, good trip.
Nice.
Made up for the lack of excitement that Charlotte brought.
Yeah. Well, shout out mountains.
Yeah, my mountain boy.
And yeah, I mean, it's good to be back into the recording studio talking about Charlotte FC. Busy week, another 2-game week. We played New York City FC and then Cincinnati the following Saturday. So a lot to talk about, but before we jump into the recap of the games, you've got some news that you want to talk about, right?
Yeah, there's been, I mean, it's not a whole bunch of stuff, but there's been some news. Messi has finally arrived today. If you're listening to the episode, that would have been, yesterday. So he arrived just in time to get a free Slurpee out of a 7-Eleven gas station.
I'm
So
sure
there's
that's the
some
first
big
place they
hype.
went.
I'm sure. Yeah. But yeah, so there's been a couple Messi news. One of them being, did you see the post that I think it was ESPN where Messi now has his own mural in Miami?
I saw. Sorry, I'm eating a cracker. I'm hungry.
Cracker boy.
Shout
yeah,
out
so
Lance Crackers, not a sponsor, but
Not
we will
yet.
take your money.
or crackers.
Yeah, true. I did see the mural. I think what was it that David Beckham commissioned it, right?
I would
Or was
think
that like
so.
a rumor or something?
No, yeah, I want to say it was like David Beckham project, because I saw a second post where he was like out there,
Painting it.
well, not painting it, but he was like giving it the old English thumbs up. So I don't know. I would assume that he had some partake in that. Probably in Messi's contract somewhere in there where like he's got to have a mural.
I need a mural every 6 blocks.
I need a mural every city I play at,
Yeah, I mean,
including away games.
there will definitely be a mural here.
So
Someone's
what
gonna
I was
do
going to ask you was, do you think he deserves a mural, and do you think he deserves it this early, or do you think he deserves? I don't know. Just like, what do you think on it?
No, I think so. I mean, he's quite literally the GOAT. It's big news bringing him here. Why not give him a little bit of love early on, especially because it's in Miami, in his city. They're, well, not his. Well, I guess now it is his city, but they want to rep him and show him welcome and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, everyone knows he's gonna come here and probably dominate, right? So.
Well, that's I think that's the expectations. That's what the bar is set up for him coming over here. And my thought process on this is I mean, yes, he's a great player. He probably deserves a mural, definitely in Argentina or Barcelona. But I'm not sure if he quite really deserves one yet in Miami. Going back and thinking other sports, Tom Brady, probably one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. But there's no mural of him in Boston that I know of. And he's won several trophies with them. And I think who was it? LeBron James had a mural at one time. It got torn down, and
Yeah.
maybe
That's a good way to trash your fan base. All right,
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
But it's like all these guys that like have put in the time into work, and then Messi's just like he's just now stepping off the plane, and there's already a mural. Like,
I'll tell you why I think he does deserve it already. Because of all the players Miami might get now. They already got Sergio Busquets. They're
yeah,
close to getting Jordi Alba. Suarez apparently wants to come play. They might get Eden Hazard. So, like, they're going to get all these big name guys that are, past their prime but can still play. And that's going to bring a lot of eyeballs to, like, that team itself, like, and to, like, the city, especially since they're, like, in last place right now. I think they're still in last
Right.
place, or
close to it.
yeah. So just for that already, like, he is like rebuilding the roster himself. He's like the Thanos of Miami and just bringing in his Infinity Stones. So
Quite literally started from the bottom.
yeah. So I think just for that, yeah, like just for even if they don't perform, it's going to be exciting to see all those guys play. But I'm sure they will play well.
Oh,
But I think
for
just
sure.
for that, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, good point. I agree with you. And I had a follow-up question, which was, I forget now. Well, do you think Messi coming here is truly going to help MLS be competitive on like an international stage, or is this really going to solidify MLS as being the retirement league?
Yeah, that is a good question. I don't think it solidifies it, but it's definitely another step towards that. It's like another, like, that's still like the big selling point of this league, right? Is you can get guys who are past their prime but still want to play, and clearly the league is willing to like skirt some rules to make sure these guys get the bag that they want. So it is definitely more towards that still. I think if they wanted to be more competitive, they would just like have to get rid of like the salary cap rule, and then just let the owners ball out. Like, if you're an owner and you want your team to win like consistently, you're gonna have to like spend, right? And then it just kind of starts that war, as we've seen in like Premier League and La Liga with Barcelona and Real Madrid just spending tons of money. Same with like Man City and I mean all the top like 6 English clubs really now. But that would have to be the way you do it. I think also you'd have to change some of the infrastructure stuff, like maybe soccer specific stadiums, real grass everywhere, better refs. So I think if they want to be more competitive, they've got some infrastructure type things to change and then some like rule type stuff to change. But I don't think we'll see either of those.
No, yeah, especially not the better refs part.
Yeah. I still think like MLS's best bet to become like a super entertaining league would be to like figure out a way to cultivate like young, exciting talent that then gets, sold to these bigger teams over in Europe. I think like a lot of people watch the Netherlands league because of that. Certain teams in Serie A because of that. Like League One in France is a big one of that. Like you can find a lot of like underrated guys who are going to be like the next superstars watching those games. And I think that's like the big selling point of like those countries, is that you can kind of like see them start out. Like, remember before PSG had all this money, like Ronaldinho played there before he was like a big name. And then like Ajax, the club in the Netherlands, like they're famous for that, for like developing young talent that then goes on to do big things in Europe.
Right. Yeah. So, overall, it seems like you're pretty happy with not only, Messi joining, but all the other players as well. Which I'm kind of on the same boat. I think Messi will not only help MLS internationally, but within itself too. Bring in new fans. Like you hear Messi's playing, you want to go see Messi play, and then eventually you either fall in love with the team or like certain players that you didn't know about before. So, big spotlight's going to be on him, but like those around him are also going to benefit from him coming over. So, I think this is a good thing overall. I'm happy with it. Can't wait to see him start playing soon.
Yeah, I wonder when his first game will be.
Yeah. So maybe we'll see him play in this. What's the what is that? The Leagues Cup. But I don't know. I think he might not start till after.
Yeah, because
we'll hit the pause on MLS. We'll do the Leagues Cup, and then we'll resume, and that's probably when he'll start.
Yeah, he'll probably treat that as like a preseason, get in shape and everything.
True. Yeah, he might even get some late minutes in, or I'm not sure. Just because it's not like he's out of shape. He still, was playing for PSG not too long ago.
Yeah, I think the league ended like mid-May. We're in July now. It's like a month and a half, 2 months off.
Right.
So he probably needs like 2-3 weeks to get back full fitness, I'd say.
Cool.
I wonder how he's gonna deal with that Miami Heat though.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how hot it gets over in PSG, but probably not as hot as Miami. But there's also another thing, like Miami's getting a brand new stadium from it.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of good stuff coming out of it. I'm sure he can adapt to the Heat. Or at least I would hope. That, or they're just gonna be like, hey, we're only playing at night or very early in the morning.
Yeah.
They'll be like, Messi's jet lag, so we're gonna play at like 6:00 in the morning.
It's too hot, so the other team's got to play down 2 guys. 11v9 now. Make it fair.
He's
it's
gonna
funny.
Be out there playing with a Camelback.
That'd be a good idea. It's funny talking about the Messi news. I had a weird dream the other night that like we got to go to like this big Charlotte event where they were gonna unveil like a star player, and they like were advertising it like it's on the likes of Messi, like blah blah blah. It turned out to be Wayne Rooney, and he came out of retirement. And he was gonna play for Charlotte. I was like, "What the hell is this?" I was like, "This is not the same." And he was like overweight and like jogging around. I was like, "This is garbage." I was like, "Of course."
His belly's poking out of the jersey.
Yeah.
I'm back.
I woke up furious. I was like, I swear to God, if they do something like that, I'm be pissed.
It's like eating a sausage.
Oh, just a can of beans. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Do you remember that Nike commercial where it's like, it was for one of the World Cups, I think 2010. And it was like how like life could have gone different for all these different superstars. And like one of them is him. And it's like if he would have missed a PK or something, and then he like wakes up and he's like in a trailer in England, like super overweight and stuff. It was pretty funny. But basically that's what I would imagine him coming out like.
I don't recall that commercial.
Oh, you have to check it out. It's pretty funny. I think
Yeah,
it was the
maybe
2010
you'll have to put the
World
link
Cup.
up somewhere.
Yeah, if I remember to do that, I will. But I probably won't. All right, moving on. Some trade
So
rumors.
we got some. Yes, yeah. Why don't you take the lead on that?
So the two that we have heard most recently, and we've heard just because they've been put online. We have no sources.
Yes, thank you, Top 90.
Someone asked me today about that. I was like, listen, I'm not that plugged in. I was like, if I knew, I would spill it online. Trust me. But we don't know any actual rumors. We've just hear the same ones everyone else says. But Nuno Santos.
We do know. They would just remove our privileges. We can't just close everything yet.
Yeah.
You'll know when we know.
Which will be at the same time as everyone else. Yeah, so Nuno Santos more than likely going to be leaving back to Portugal, I think, to play in the second division. Excuse me, I'm burping up a Cherry Coke Zero, trying to stay healthy.
What
Zero
a combination. Sugar. Crackers and soda.
Well, it's zero sugar soda, so I don't feel too bad about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's, for sure going to leave eventually. I think that clears, like, a lot of cap space, too. And that's what I've heard has been like the delaying factor. I don't know how true that is because again, don't have any sources.
Right.
But it makes sense, like, right? If we still have Shinyashiki and Nuno Santos like on the payroll, hitting that cap space, it's probably going to be hard to bring in new guys until we can offload them. But yeah, so there's that one. I haven't heard any more traction on that besides just the initial story.
Right.
And then a news outlet out of Poland actually revealed that Sobozinski might be leaving to go back there and play for a club there. That one is pretty upsetting because
Yeah, same.
he's young. I don't think he's really like played a bad game. He's got a good long ball, athletic.
Yeah.
So I mean, definitely underutilized here. So I can understand like from his perspective wanting out because it just seems like no matter what he does, he doesn't get the right opportunities. But yeah, that one is annoying if that one goes through.
Yeah, I'm right there in the same thoughts as you. Like, he's a young guy. He's a lot of potential. I see a lot of potential on him. He's a good relief player for now. I think he can develop into a leader and a starter in the future. So hopefully he stays. But yeah, we don't know yet. Going back to the Nuno Santos, we're pretty sure because of the controversy, he's most likely gonna leave.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if whatever investigation might be going on would delay that. Like, no, you can't leave the country until we figure this out.
Well, I don't think he'll have any issues because he was never like charged or anything, or even like part of the police report. Really, like barely. You know what I mean? It wasn't on him. It was more towards Shinyashiki.
Right.
So, and I mean, last we heard they like weren't really investigating. I imagine they've got a lot of stuff.
Is he still with Legacy?
No.
No. Yeah.
Maybe on paper, but he hasn't played a game.
Yeah,
forever.
It's not good. Yeah, so most likely he's on the way out, and so is the other guy, but hopefully not Zabashinsky.
Yeah, I'd prefer Charlotte to try to keep him and nurture him up.
Yeah, Top Bid 90 made this post in regards to him leaving. Like, what are the thoughts? And a lot of the comments on there were like, okay, well, if you're gonna get rid of that guy, like, you need to replace him like immediately, which I agree. It's like, and I think the whole fan base most likely agrees right now. Our defense is just atrocious.
Yeah,
and to be like getting rid of guys, then we definitely need to be like, looking for more defensive players. So,
yeah, like if you want to revamp the defense, I don't think that's the guy to start with.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or even
Not
really
at
the
all.
position to start with. I feel like center back is not where we're having issues, but it is what it is.
Yeah, right. We need to be looking for like a strong left back and probably another strong center back, and I don't know, our right back's pretty good as far as Lindsay and Byrne, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah, we can talk about Lindsay during the Cincinnati game because that made me. I had to reevaluate some thoughts after that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, but we'll get to it.
Yeah. And then I guess that probably does it as far as trade rumors, unless you have a different source than I do.
I know Top Bid 90 is like teasing that a signing is going to be announced soon. I don't know when. He's actually the one plugged in and has the actual sources and gets the information. And shout out to them because they do a lot of work to like get that and then like to make sure they set it up like release that information at appropriate times and when everything is like 100% confirmed. They're not just throwing out crazy trade rumors like I would be if I just heard a whisper of something.
Rooney's back.
Yeah, he's back, baby.
He's
No,
coaching and playing. Two teams.
Imagine 2 teams.
He's coaching
They let
DC
him
and
keep the
playing for us.
DC. That'd be incredible.
He's playing for Crown Legacy.
Yeah.
Would he dominate in Crown Legacy?
No, absolutely not. He's so out of shape. I think his heart might literally explode. Those guys are not. Those guys are pretty good. Like, it's impressive to watch them play.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't watched them, but I'm sure. I'll take your word on it.
Yeah. The only other thing, Charlotte FC Fanatic on Twitter asked us, why aren't there more trades within MLS teams? Would seem much easier to go work out a deal with a team in the States. I agree with that. You definitely see it in other sports more often, like baseball, NBA, NFL. But I guess it's because there's not really competing leagues everywhere.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just because how many, like, it's such a giant player pool to pull from that maybe you don't. I don't know. That would be my thought. Like, maybe it's actually a little bit easier to get someone from outside of the MLS network because of all the GAM rules and like salary cap and how all that works. Like, that seems a little more complicated than just going to a team and being like, hey, we'll give you 500,000 for this guy.
Yeah, I think you're probably right along the lines of, like, especially on the salary, it's probably cheaper to go get somebody on the cheap side from a smaller foreign league that has maybe the same amount of skills as somebody that already has like a big contract with MLS.
Yeah, I imagine just the negotiations part of it too would be difficult. If, like, you go to a team and you say, hey, we want that guy. They can counter negotiate for like 1 more game or 2, like a certain player. So it's just like, I feel like it's probably just more steps involved as opposed to like, if you go like go to a team in like South American League, it's just, straight up money trade.
Yeah, they probably hear MLS and it's like, yep, I'll do it.
Yeah, more eyes on the player.
Yeah, I would think so too, and especially if you're trying to maybe get like players from and I think we talked about this before, but like some of the more appealing cities as New York, Miami, LA, things like that. Trying to get somebody from Miami to come over to Charlotte, that'd be definitely a struggle.
Yeah, I tweeted about that the other day actually, because it came out that over this past weekend, Charlotte FC had the largest attendance of any MLS team. And I think it's almost by like double. We had like 43,000 at the stadium this past weekend. And I, just tweeted out like, hey, Tepper, maybe reward these fans who are like coming out, even though the team isn't great right now, with like some better players or even like more good players. And then also like maybe invest some money in the team by like building them a really good practice facility that's like state of the art. And like, because I think we've talked about this before, but to me, that would be like your biggest like bargaining tool to like try to attract players, especially like the guys we seem to be going after from non-MLS teams. I guess besides Ashley Westwood and Scarlett Oldfield, who are a bit older, we've seemed to sign a lot of like young guys from like Colombia, Poland, like just younger guys who are a little bit more unproven. And it's like, well, if I'm a young 22-year-old and I'm going to get pretty much the same amount of eyeballs between going to Charlotte or going to like Miami or LA, obviously the location of the other two is more appealing. But if you have like the best facilities and like you show like, hey, we're really going to like nurture and develop you, and you're not just going to be like another name on the team sheet, or, like just try to stick out that way, I feel like would be the way to go for Charlotte. I don't know, what do you think?
No, I agree. I like that they are opening up that top section of the stadium to allow more fans in. I don't mind the 500 section as long as I'm like within the first 4 rows, I would think. But that's another thing. I mean, it's not like we were when it was like at 43 or 44,000, whatever the number was, I still saw a couple empty seats, like, down towards the main area. But it could be like people were out or
Yeah.
things like that. But no, I agree. Like, as far as what the team has done this season, I think the fans deserve something.
Yeah. I think even just building out like a new stadium, like on grass for like 30,000 people, like a 30,000 seat stadium would be packed every weekend, pretty much.
Yeah, because
And like, who doesn't want to play in front of a packed crowd every time? Like,
yeah, exactly.
you see some of the teams like this past New York game, when we were up in New York and you saw that stadium, like it was kind of like pitiful. When we went and like played Philly last season, like it was pretty empty. Like some of these teams that we play, like they only get like 10,000 people, and it's like in a big stadium, and so it looks like so empty. That's not really the most motivating thing to play for.
Yeah, and not only were they playing in like a big stadium, but it was a specific, baseball stadium where like you could see where they had like patched down grass and
yeah, but that was sick.
Like...
I like that.
You like that?
Just because it looks terrible.
Oh, okay, yeah. And I was just, I'm looking at that stadium, I'm thinking like, does Messi know he's gonna have to play in this, or are they gonna, open up the Madison Square Garden?
That would be crazy.
That would be nice.
Is that even big enough?
Sure. I don't know.
They'll make it work. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, they'll live stream it.
Yeah, but I mean, even like Scott Offield and Ashley Westwood have said like a big thing that interested them in coming to Charlotte was like the fan base and like playing in front of that crowd, because it's probably similar. It's probably the most similar to like what they've been playing in front of before. And when you're, in your post 30s playing, you're probably trying to hold on to certain things. And I bet like that feeling of playing in front of like thousands of people is one of them. When you go from like Ranger Stadium or Burnley Stadium to then like, I don't know, Chicago Stadium of like 10K or whatever, it's probably a little demoralizing, I'd have to think.
Yeah, it's almost like you can see the end of the road and they don't want to get off.
But imagine if we had like a soccer specific stadium, like St. Louis Stadium, and we've talked about that before. Like that stadium's pretty sweet, but that could hold like 30,000 or 32,000, and it would be packed all the time. I think a lot of players would be interested in that, especially again like young up and coming guys.
Yeah, I know our past two home openers, we hit the record with like 72.
74, I think.
74, and our second home opener was not nearly as big, but it was still pretty packed.
Like 69,000.
Right.
That got broke over this weekend or the weekend before.
Yeah, at the Rose. Yeah. Uh-huh,
yeah.
For, Old Trafford.
That's such an asterisk. It's like you had to go to a different stadium that neither team play in the most populated city in the country, and it's two fan bases making it up. Like,
but dude, you know what?
The 74 was like all Charlotte fans.
Well, yeah, that's true, and that was cool. But I like that in a sense because like those two teams have developed a rivalry, and it has become this huge event that like that's the game to go to, right?
Yeah.
Where like I could see that for Charlotte and Atlanta in a couple years down the road.
Where would they do it? What's the Rose
Battle
Bowl
of '85? I mean Atlanta's not too far from us, so it could, and then it's a 4-hour trip for either way. They could even hype it up where it's like a 2-part event,
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I just see that rivalry becoming a big deal,
like a much bigger deal.
Yeah, exactly. For these two teams, so like that's one thing I'm looking forward to down the road is when these guys are going to be packed. Because last Atlanta game, the Atlanta fans showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went down to play, like our guys showed up.
Made a difference too.
Oh yeah. You could hear him through the TV and everything.
Oh yeah, we got to make it to that next year.
For sure, both.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's one good thing I see about Charlotte and high hopes in the future for that.
Yeah. Again, I just think like building out super good facility, and then like obviously like you can only do so much with the coaching and training staff, but like you could probably get like the best nutritionists, the best like sports massage people, like
Yeah,
behavioral psychology, like all that other like tertiary staff that like it has to do with like the non-footballing stuff that helps a professional. Like if you got the best of all that, that would be, I think, super enticing to like a young player. To come to Charlotte as opposed to an LA or a New York or a Miami or something.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to see a, a a Charlotte stadium only, um, just for the fact that like it would be a better experience for the fans and I guess the players as well. Anywhere in the range from I think 30 to 40,000.
Yeah.
And we can just do the home openers at Bank of America when they can really pack out. But on the business side of it, I mean, Tepper, you're sitting there. He's got that big old stadium there that only gets used for basically maybe concerts and then football season.
Yeah.
And football season doesn't last that long. So when it's not football season, that thing's just sitting there draining money. Where he could be just, or what he's doing now, it's just making money by having two teams play there. So from that aspect
Well,
of it,
he should buy
I
an
understand.
XFL team and have them play there.
Yeah,
They play in the spring. NFL plays in the fall. There you go. He's
Bring
got the
more
money.
monster trucks.
Yeah. I'm sure we can find another sporting event.
Couple rodeos.
Maybe turn it into a baseball stadium. Why not? They'll figure it out.
Yeah, but I'm with you. I want to see a Charlotte stadium.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. What's the next topic you got for us?
Nothing too crazy. Just the new EA Sports has dropped a little teaser trailer. They last year was the last year that they did that FIFA and EA did a video game. It was FIFA 23. Then they split up. It's going to be two different companies, two different games. And EA has put out, it's called EAFC, as far as Football Club 24. So EAFC 24, they dropped a little teaser trailer. Did you get a chance to look at it?
I'm watching it right now, and I got to tell you,
yeah.
it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's like every other trailer.
Yeah.
Looks like they're going to have Ultimate Team in it also. So.
Oh, yeah. You can already see Beckham's guy has the Ultimate Team jersey on.
Yeah, and they even have it at the beginning, like, does include in-game purchases that are random.
Mm-hmm. So already there's going to be that.
Nice
which
little
I'm
gambling
not a fan
addiction.
Of. Yeah. They're supposed to drop the full trailer on July 13th. But I'm right there with you. Like, the game just looks like a basic copy and paste from last year. And they're just throwing in some old classic players to try to entice people.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how many licenses they're going to have that FIFA won't. And then it's just going to be...
Looks like they have a majority of them.
At least the big ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just thought a fun little tidbit there. It's almost soccer video game time.
Are you going to get it?
I don't think so. From the looks of it, no.
Yeah.
And I think, like, the way they do licensing is just so weird. From a player's perspective, it's so messed up because, like, I think I told you a couple of days ago I was trying to play with the Liga MX since we're getting ready to start up the tournament there, and I was like, FIFA doesn't have the rights to it. It's like, it's like so lame.
Yeah.
They don't have the rights to like the Colombian leagues. They have the rights, I think, to like 2 of their teams, and that's it. So, from a player's perspective, it's really just dumb how they do that. Because now it's like, You got PES, FIFA, and EA.
Yeah.
So it's like a bad divorce.
Yeah,
And they're
then
making
Pez
us
is just
pick.
there.
Yeah, yeah. PES is just a dog like getting the scraps.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably won't get it either. I mean, one, I've been playing way less video games now that I have a kid. And then two, I got FIFA 23, but that was the first FIFA I've bought since like FIFA 14. So for me, it was like a big upgrade and a big change. I was like, whoa, this is way different.
No, yeah, same here.
But Ultimate Team is addicting, and so I will not be participating anymore.
Yeah, opening those packs, it's a real thrill.
Yeah, it really is. Like getting scratch offs.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the next thing. So, like we said, we played New York City FC on the road. I think it was 2 Saturdays ago, and then this Saturday we played Cincinnati. Is that right, or is my schedule? My internal clock is really messed up, guys. So all the days kind of feel the same. Okay, I am wrong. We played them Wednesday the 5th, and then Saturday the 8th. Why does that feel like 2 weeks apart?
I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't that far ago.
That feels like,
long ago.
feels like a year ago. All right, so we figured we'd kind of change things up a little bit as we tend to do on the show and how we recap the games, and we're just kind of cover both at once, covering some general topics. I think the first thing we should talk about, and let me know if you want to jump into something different, is just the lineups, just the inconsistency of them between every game, and just the like continued experimentation of just playing guys in random spots. So for the New York game, we saw Mackenzie Gaines start, Kopetti, Yazwiak start in the front line, and then we had a midfield of Serderski, Harrison Awful, and Ashley Westwood. And I think everyone thought this was like a mess up on the graphic, because then on the back line we had Byrne, Derek Jones, Carujo, and Tulioma. So I think people were like, well, surely Jones and Awful are actually going to switch. But no, Harrison Awful played center mid. And I actually thought he played pretty well. What did you think of him playing center mid?
I'm right there with you. I mean, he wasn't. Awful's not a player that has like bad games in my eyes.
Yeah.
He works. His like work rate is very high, especially for, I guess him being one of the older guys out there.
This was his 200th appearance, I believe.
Oh dang!
That's a lot.
Congrats, I guess.
Shout out.
It's more than me.
Yeah, just a slight amount.
But yeah, like ever since I think the first time I remember seeing Awful play was maybe in the away game at Atlanta last season.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but yeah, ever since I saw him play, I'm like, that's a good guy to like have in the squad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another one I question every time I don't see him on the starting lineup or even on the bench sometimes. I think he deserves more minutes. But overall in that position, he seemed to do okay. I'm right there with everybody else as far as Jones probably does better on the center mid than I guess Awful, and I think Awful probably excels on the left back position, either left back or right back.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think it's just like, it's so weird to play both of those guys out of position who have played very, very well in their natural position, like you mentioned, especially when you have Zabozinski on the bench. You have Jalen Lindsay on the bench as well that could have played. So you have like other more traditional options, but it's just, I don't know, it's a little bit confusing and like frustrating to see just the lineup be like so like unpredictable and like inconsistent week over week. And I mean, if you think it doesn't have like anything to do with the results, like I just think you're wrong. Like teams need consistency to like work on timings and learn how to play off of each other and stuff, and then just also to learn the position more, especially within like the system that this coach wants to play, and when you're moving all these guys around so much, like Tulian was playing at right back, which is I think the second, and for the New York game, that was the second time we've seen it. So just stuff like that I think is weird, and then also just like the subs, like Bender not coming in after. I saw a stat today where he's had like the most significant passes in the least amount of time. So he's got like more significant passes than like Westwood and like Sergerski, even though he's played like way less minutes than them. And he's got what I think 3 goals and 3 assists this season or something. So a guy who's producing and then just like can't even get on the field doesn't make any sense. But I don't know. What were your thoughts on like something like that?
No, I'm right there with you. I saw a shout out to Charlotte FC and memes page. He puts out some pretty funny content. We started following him early on from last season, but he had a post a couple of days ago, or maybe right when the Cincinnati lineup came out, where it was like, it shows the lineup pages and then it has a big shuffle button at the bottom, and I was like, that's pretty much what it seems like the coach and staff is doing. It's like just drawing names out of a hat and, filling them in. Like for right back, who do we got? There's a hat. Pick that name. Okay, that's where you're playing at. It's like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And you're right. Players need the consistency to develop the team chemistry so you can have like those no-look passes and just, that mental awareness of where this guy usually is when I'm positioned at a certain spot in the field, just things like that, which we haven't seen since it seems like the start of the season. So, that needs to change and quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, again, just seems like anytime a guy plays like 2 or 3 good games, just straight to the bench and not to be seen from again. Now it's Ben Bender, who was Patrick Ajimang. Before him, it was Brandon Cambridge. Before him, it was freaking
and even
Brazilian forward.
Maram.
Yeah.
Like he's played, I don't know, maybe half the games that some of these guys have played. And he's already has assists, he has goals, but he hasn't been on the starting lineup for the past 2 games.
Yeah.
So, just weird. I think we kind of talked about that last episode too. It's just like, whenever you seem to be doing good for Charlotte, that's when you're going to get benched.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit weird. Anything else, like, in general, maybe just about this New York game you want to talk about? Mackenzie Gaines finally scored a goal.
Yeah, see? I told you.
It does one good thing a game. This time it was a goal. All right, we have to talk about that goal because...
I have an eye for talent. Okay?
Okay.
Ajiman is garbage.
You're crazy.
Gaines is the way to go.
You're crazy. We have to talk about that goal,
some
though.
new cleats.
Because, so, I didn't get to watch the game live. I was like 20 minutes behind. But I saw on Twitter, like, everyone was talking about the goal before I saw the clip. And people were like, oh my God, Mackenzie Gaines from distance, from way downtown. What a, like,
Sniper.
from so far away. Dude, it's at the top of the 18. Like, that's not that far. That's not like
all
a
our other
long
goals
range
have
goal.
come from inside the box.
Okay, but still, that's not like a long range goal. That's
Sniper.
not a, no, that's not a sniper.
Setting
Need
the
you to
bar
be like
high.
5 more yards back.
Gaines is setting the bar high for these guys. He said,
It was
this
a good
is where
goal.
you need to be scoring from. Not these little 50-50 headers. Not the inside the 6-yard box.
I'll
From
say
outside
Vargas
the
has
box.
done that more than Gaines. He shoots from far.
And comes close.
Yeah, he's getting close. He's dialing in that
close.
scope.
Yep.
Didn't
Just a
adjust for
couple
the
more
win.
games.
Yeah.
No.
But I just thought like people's reaction was a little too much. Like, it was a very nice goal, but it was not from long range. That is not a long range goal.
when I watched the game and I saw the lineup and I saw Gaines, I'm like, oh, he's not gonna like that. And then when he scored, I'm like, oh, he's definitely not gonna like that. I was like, I got to rub that in.
I was like, I hope we lose. Hope that goal means nothing. But it ended up, giving us a point.
Yeah, the only goal of the game. And then I think did he get subbed out eventually?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Because he was doing good.
Yeah. Vargas came in for him. So I was happy with that. I think that makes sense.
But it was like after that goal, I mean, it just turned into a real lull of a game.
So like I think that's the other thing we could talk about is just like, and I don't know if it's like the team or if it's Latanzia's instructions or what, but like as soon as we get a lead, we just start defending. We just start sitting back. And it's like maddening because if it is his instructions, it's like, dude, we have the worst defense in the league. Like, this is not how we're going to win. Like, unfortunately, we're going to have to win by scoring like 3 or 4 goals and hopefully win by like 1 or 2. But just continues to like have the team sit back, especially that second half. Like, they just got peppered over and over and over again. Like, I think we were lucky it ended 1-1.
No, yeah, I agree. Gaines had the goal. I think Capetti had like an injury not too long after that, maybe 10 minutes after that. And it was just, Charlotte just let off the gas. I want to say, at first I thought it's just, that New York got fired up and they're, playing more defense. But when New York scored that equalizing goal, then Charlotte all of a sudden, like, started getting good again.
Just like what they always do in the last, 5 minutes.
Yeah, so it almost seems to be like it's like a coaching strategy. It's like, okay, we got, like you said, like, we got the goal, and then Latanzio's barking out orders to just play defense.
Yeah.
When we should be trying to go for more. I don't know the stats or anything, and I didn't bother looking them up, but I know New York definitely had a lot more.
I think it was like 21-3 for shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, but yeah, it was like Charlotte just kind of stayed back and let them, try to do something, and New York kept trying and trying and trying until sure enough, and they had like a lot of chances. Like, Kalina saved us.
Yeah, it could have easily been more than 1-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was a similar issue in like the Red Bulls game, and some other games early on this season. I mean, a lot of games this season. I don't think the Cincinnati
the Red
game.
Bulls is another example. It's like a game we should have won. We were up, and then we let them come back. And I don't know. It's been like the same record, basically.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I don't think the Cincinnati game was quite like that. I felt like, we took that 2-0 lead in the first half, and then, Cincinnati came out, I think, a little bit more aggressive. But I don't feel like we just sat back and defended either. I felt like we tried to go get some more attacks, and just couldn't get anything done. Even when they went down 10 men with like 17 minutes left to play. But I had some issues with Latanzia's comments after the Cincinnati game and after the New York game a little bit too. He's starting to piss me off a little bit with some of his post-match comments. But in the Cincinnati game,
say?
Well, all right, we can start with the New York City game. I think he's basically saying like supporters had a little bit too much like expectations and need more patience and stuff like this. And then he's also saying like the defense, it's like, oh, if only our defense would have been like more compact. I'm like, dude, did you not see the goal? Like they switched the play and the guy out wide with like 40 yards of space scored because you have a right back who's actually a center back playing on top of a midfielder who's a center back covering the same guy. And then the guy out wide has like all the time in the world to score. So just stuff like that, like just comments that I feel like don't make sense. And then like the Cincinnati game. And then also like for the New York game, he said he felt like the draw was like a fair result. I was like, I don't know what game you were watching. You thought that was a fair result. We definitely should have lost that game.
No, yeah, I don't think so either.
But then after the Cincinnati game, he was kind of made like a comment of like, oh, if only Swiderski would have, on a night like this, Swiderski could have had like 4 or 5 goals. And I'm like, dude, that should not be your takeaway here. Like, he had 2 goals that he really shouldn't have scored in the first half. Hit the post on one that you could argue he should score. But like, if your game plan is like, hey, Swiderski, we're gonna need a hat trick out of you to win, like, that's a bad game plan. And
Yeah.
I just feel like that's not sustainable. And I mean, you look at like our past couple results, like most of the time we are scoring early and like scoring a lot. And like to just not be able to put any of these games away because of that, because of the defense, and him just like not making any adjustments to that is really frustrating.
No, yeah, I hadn't really listened to any of his like post match conferences, but that would definitely upset me, especially if he's expecting us to just basically outscore our opponents every time. It's like I'd like some clean sheets every now and then.
Yeah,
That would
I think
be
we
nice.
only have 2 this season.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly
Or maybe we
what
have
his
3
thought
this season.
process is on that. Yeah, but it's like when we get a clean sheet, so does the other team. It seems like.
yeah, that's true.
But no, it's like, okay, we played we talked about this earlier. Like, we played New York, which was on the stand-ins. They were either, I want to say, like 11th or 12th, or maybe a little. They're right there with us. And then we played Cincinnati at home, and we get the same result out of each one. So it's like, okay, in regards to that, like, if we can tie Cincinnati, we should have beat New York. And we should have beaten by more than 1 goal.
Yeah. Not only that, but it's like you had the lead on Cincinnati, 2-0. Like, in the first half.
you had the lead on Cincinnati. You had the lead on New York City. You had the lead on the Red Bulls. How many more leads do we got to give up?
Yeah.
Like you said, the defense does not play compact, but I also want to say it's like because of how he's playing them. It's like whenever we have the ball, I don't know if you noticed, but it's like our left back and our right back, which are, I want to say they're playing more of as a left wing back and right wing back.
Mm-hmm.
They shoot up to help with the attack, and so does one of the center backs. So like on the Cincinnati game, I noticed that like Jones, he's officially listed as a center back, but when we're on the attack, he kind of transforms into a center defensive mid, going up and helping with the attack.
Yeah.
Which, I have no problems with that. But then that's when we give up a lot of our goals too, is on the counterattack. So, he's up there and then he's just kind of shoot back. And if you look at some of the highlights, like when we're on the attack, we have maybe 2 defenders by the halfway point.
Yeah.
So it's like he's got to take, I would say, some sort of blame on this and reorganize or just rethink his formation strategy.
I wonder if like all the issues we're having with Latanzio is a result of him like being a brand new head coach. Like, he's only really this is his first head coaching job. He's only been doing it for like about a year, a little over a year now, and I wonder if it's just inexperience from him that's causing this. Like not knowing when to switch systems and maybe play like a simpler system or make the right player adjustments, or when to use players or trust young players, like just stuff like that. Because he is an older guy, but again, like this is his first head coaching job, and I've wondered if we're just kind of dealing with the consequences of that inexperience.
Yeah, but I mean, he's also been coaching for a while, enough to know that, like, what we talked about earlier just a little while ago, it's a lineup. You got to have consistency on the lineup, and formations. Like, you got to have some sort of uh, like not only consistency but tactics behind your formation. And it just seems like we play the same type of formation no matter who we play. And the lineup is just always kind of like a scramble.
That's what I mean, though. Like, I wonder if he was maybe like
in
that
over
as
his
an
head?
assistant. Well, I wonder if he had those ideas as an assistant coach, but the head coach was just like, yeah, we're just not going to do that this time around, or only took, pieces of his ideas. But now that he's in like full control,
Yeah.
maybe it's a little bit too much. Like, because to me, it does seem like he is like overthinking the tactical side of it. Like, I think he sees how it plays out on paper, and he's like, if we do this, this, and this, like when we have the ball, like it's going to lead to this, this, and this, and and maybe it works out in training when you're doing it at like a half speed or whatever, and you're working on it specifically, so like you're kind of letting it happen. But when it comes to the actual match and it doesn't like work out as planned or how he is envisioned, like he just has he just like cannot pivot. I mean, even we're 22 games in, and it's still just kind of like the same old story the last like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, you're right. It's like he's been watching Ted Lasso too much. He's just trying to be.
He's got believe posters all over the place.
Yeah, just believe. And it almost seems that way with all the ties that we've gotten. It's like season 2, and this is our second season. And it's like tie, and
yeah, I wonder if we're to blame for this, because we did say we'd like to see them tie more instead of lose, but I thought they were going to keep the same amount of wins. I didn't know that we were going to sacrifice wins for ties.
Yeah, no, we got to sacrifice losses for ties, not wins.
Especially at home. Gosh. Like, and that was the thing
especially at home. Like, that's the ones we're paying for.
Yeah, and
well, you.
Yeah. And that's a lot of people are upset about the New York tie, and some people tried to have like a positive attitude on it of like, well, it's a road game, it's hard to win road games, so at least we got a point. Right. And in the
fair point to somewhat.
I would say like out of context that is a fair point, but in the context of like the season where you haven't won in 4 games, you had the lead early, the same mistakes keep happening that are costing you games. You've given up these other games. Like, this was a game you had to win because it was a team, again, like you said, like right around where we were on the table, so we really needed those 3 points. And it was a game you could have won. Like, you could have put that game away and just didn't.
Both the New York games were like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's crazy. And you bring up... Go ahead.
I was saying, again, like, in the context of the season of, like, if we were playing like we did last season at home, where we were pretty much winning every game, then a tie on the road would be good enough. But, like, you're dropping points at home, so you have to pick them up somewhere, and it's just not happening. I think that's what was frustrating for everyone.
No, yeah, same here. And I was gonna say, you bring up a good point where it's nearly, well, one thing, we're still unbeaten against New York City Football Club, so that's a plus.
Yeah, we own that team.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say was it's nearly playoff time, like you mentioned. With the way things are going, do you think Charlotte's gonna make the playoffs?
Nah.
Right.
I don't think so.
It's not looking good.
I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams that are basically tied for 9th on just points. Obviously, it gets broken out by different things like goal difference and whatnot. We've played one more game than 3 of them, so they could all actually be at 29 points. So that kind of stinks. And then DC United is at 30, which is another 4 points. So it just feels like, and just the way we're playing and the way everyone else is playing and stuff, it just doesn't feel like we're going to make up that deficit. Trying to see who we play. Montreal, and then these are all the matches. Trying to just see our schedule.
Yeah, it seems like we're on a downward trend. Like,
we play Montreal, and then we go on the Leagues Cup, and then we play Inter Miami, LAFC, Orlando, Nashville, DC, Philly, Cincinnati, New England, Toronto, Chicago, Inter Miami. There's not a whole lot of names on that jump out as an easy 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really just like Orlando. Maybe the first Inter Miami game, the one there. But even then, like, they're probably, if I could see that game being Messi's debut, like MLS debut. So I don't
Right.
think they will want to lose that. LAFC, they beat us 5-0 last year. Nashville could be a game.
Nashville's strong right now. I don't
Yeah.
think that's gonna be. Here's the thing.
Especially at home.
So
Like at
like
their
this
home.
coming Saturday when we play Montreal, that one's more of a toss up. But Montreal got real close last game, and they were, we ended up it was 0-0 on that game.
Yeah.
But Montreal looks strong.
Mm-hmm. And
And
they're
they
holding
had
that
some.
ninth place right now, so.
Yeah, exactly. So that one's like 50-50. Well, I would say even 60-40 more towards Montreal.
Yeah, especially because it's
Just
on the road again.
exactly. But then after that it's Miami. We should win that, but we also should have beat Red Bulls. I can't tell if we're home or away for that one, but it's not looking good. That's what I'm trying to get to,
Yeah.
especially with the schedule.
Yeah, and again, it also depends on like
They need to win just about every game
yeah.
to fully secure the spot.
And it depends on like Chicago, New York Red Bulls, and Montreal schedule because those are the three teams in front of us for ninth.
Right.
And then you got to hope like DC and Orlando can drop some points. But I mean, like, yeah, like the Philly game, the Orlando game, the DC game, like those are all games you kind of need to win, so that you can kind of get those like 3 points back from teams above you, and that beating the teams above you is what helps you move up the table more than anything.
I mean, it wasn't too long ago when New York Red Bulls were in like 14th place, and now
Yeah.
they're in 10th. So it's because of like how close some of these are, it's doable, but you got to hold on to those early leads that the Charlotte players are getting.
Yeah, and I think it's not even really like a points thing at this point. I feel like it's more of just from what I've seen.
Performance.
Yeah, like the performance I've seen doesn't make me feel confident about it.
Absolutely. No, it's you're not gonna do it with ties alone. That's for sure.
I have a feeling we're gonna end up like in 10th or 11th, like just right
Ugh.
outside of it again.
That would suck.
Yeah. Man, people are so confident that Miami's gonna make it, but they've only got 18 points.
There's no way.
That's
No way.
seems like very difficult to make up.
Yeah.
Unless the league is like new rule for this last game, it's gonna count as 10 points. But only for that.
Only for
We're gonna do a lottery. Oh, we picked Miami.
that's what one thing they love to do is lotteries.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, I'm glad we kind of covered that a little bit.
One thing also I wanted to talk about over these last
so
two.
this is our fifth tie, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yes, sir.
when we played New York and Cincinnati, both commentators mentioned Charlotte hasn't won since May 27th. So almost a month and a half.
Is that even right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
it is
wins.
right. LA Galaxy.
It's just been ties.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So in our last 7, it's been 2 losses and 5 ties. That's not a
Yikes.
record you want.
No.
What did you think of Scott Arfield's performance in these matches?
Not bad. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. I
He
didn't
almost
know.
had the goal in New York. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah,
That nutmeg was sweet.
Yes. Yeah. That was He did almost have that goal. He had that one wild shot in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't recall anything he did in the Cincinnati game.
I want to say, was it Cincinnati or New York? But I think it was Cincinnati where he was like right outside the box and he. Oh yeah, it was around the 87th minute. And he just took like, the ball was coming down. He took like a wild shot, and it just went way high. I got a comment on, or I got a note here where it says 87th minute, Arfield WTF shot, looked tired and lazy. So I guess maybe I was feeling differently about him then. But I don't know if he deserves the starting role yet, but
Especially over Ben Bender. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, it's just so crazy. Like, the dude gets 2 goals and then he doesn't start a game for 2 games straight so far.
yeah, it doesn't even get subbed on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the highlights don't even have that shot, so I can't even see it for this card.
Well, it's on the full replay. Just go towards the very end of the game.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's bad. Trying to look at what other notes I have here.
I was gonna say, what do you think of Copetti's situation now? He's out this game.
I think he's looking to get out. I think he's looking to get traded. He doesn't seem fully committed. He looks frustrated when he's out there playing. He seems like he's constantly either out of position or, in like double coverage. I don't know if he's gonna work out or not. I mean,
how do you justify starting him again after what Swiderski just did, right?
Exactly.
And,
yeah.
We beat Atlanta without Copetti, tied the number 1 team without him.
Mm-hmm.
I think Swiderski's the leading goal scorer again now. I think he's got 5 goals this season.
I recall more Swiderski goals than I do Copetti.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and that's another note I had here is, is Copetti being out of the lineup hurting us or not? And it seems like it's not hurting us.
Yeah.
So, I still think the formation. I mean, I get the game plan that Latanzio has, where he's got like the attack around Copetti, but I don't think it's working. I honestly still think that we need a second forward up there.
Yeah.
So we can get like some 1-2 passes or.
Well,
I don't know. He doesn't seem to be working out. I think he definitely has the talent.
I think it's also just like an effort thing, because when you look at the 2 goals that Swiderski scored, I don't see Copetti making those same like movements to try to get to that ball. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I totally agree with that. You remember the St. Louis game? We only had the 1 goal. It was a Copetti goal, but it was off a header, and it was a nice header. But it wasn't like, if I'm remembering it right, it wasn't like your typical jump and hit your head sideways. It was like he had to like almost flick it backwards. I could be remembering that wrong, but it was like a hard-fought goal. And he's had some other ones like that, but it just doesn't feel like he's getting the best use.
Like especially that first Swiderski goal, I feel like he would not have gotten to that ball, or he would try to like get the foul.
Yeah, that's another thing I don't like about him is his constant drama and his constant just trying to get the foul and just being a crybaby when he doesn't.
Yeah.
Which some of them were legit fouls that weren't called, but others is just like you're clearly just like throwing yourself out there. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, he's good at flopping or diving, but not good enough. Yeah, he ain't no Ronaldo.
Yeah, that is the holy diver.
Yeah, he ain't no Neymar.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just feel like both of the Swiderski goals, I just feel like he would not have been able to, like, I think you're right. I think he would have tried to like head it or something, but like,
right,
just that little like finesse touch that Swiderski has on him, especially like that second one. Like he's just wrapping his like boot in front of the guy. I just don't see Copetti going for that.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell until you put him in those situations, but it's it's hard to justify putting him at the top again when Swiderski seems to be doing the job.
Yeah,
I would like to see both of them up there. But that's not up to me.
Yeah. Everyone write a letter to your governor and say, force Latanzio to play 2 strikers, please.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was just like good team play all around that first half against Cincinnati.
Yeah, it was a dominant first half.
Yeah. And then, what was it? Not too long after that, I think Bronico had a miss. Good play again by Gaines. Good distribution. I like that.
What'd you think of the PK call?
No, that was so just technical. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not for it.
Not either. It's like a 50-50 ball. They're both swiping at it.
Yeah. It's BS call.
Yeah, it feels like he just has to call it because there's contact. But it's
and that was another thing. So there was like a lot of hype about Ted Uncle reffing this game, and I think he's reffing another game. I think he reffed the game on Sunday for the Gold Cup. But I'm like, who's Ted Uncle? Why is he so famous?
Because he's like the worst MLS ref.
Oh,
yeah.
He's the most expensive.
You see him and you're like, oh no, it's gonna be a bad game. That's pretty much it.
That makes sense. He's the one that all the other refs try to be like. That makes sense.
He's like that NBA ref that got in trouble.
Yeah. Taking money from the mafia.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, man, I feel like it's just same stuff we've seen the last couple games of just offense does its job, right? Get a goal or two, and then defense just cannot hold out. Like Jalen Lindsey, I mean, people have been demanding he start every game, but I mean the PK call is kind of bogus, but that second goal, man, he gets burnt. Like he loses track of the runner and then like just completely falls for that fake cross.
Yeah,
dude,
and
that's
it was
so basic.
Not even totally on Lindsay either. It's like Lindsay, like you said, loses the runner. Yazviak gets nutmegged, and then Kalina gets nutmegged.
Yeah,
it was just that's why they're number one there. That was, I mean, I hate to say it, but that was a pretty good goal.
It was, man. That pass to set it
the
up,
shot
and then
too,
the outside of the foot. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, ooh, nasty. They're gonna be putting that on the highlight reel for sure.
Actually, I had a friend. I don't know if you remember Jordan Spick. He was actually in town, so I got to sit with him, and his seats are actually behind that goal. So I saw that like right in front of me.
Oh, you went? Okay, I didn't know you went to the game.
Yeah, I went to the game. I sat the first half in my regular seats, and then the second half with him. And man, it was cool to see it in person. But as soon as I saw the pass, I was like, oh no, like, this isn't good. And then when Lindsay just got juked, I was like, dude, what? I saw that fake coming from like a mile away. I was like, how did you fall for that?
Yeah,
man. And then Swiderski just unlucky to not get two in the second half also. From almost like the exact same situation.
Yeah, pretty much. Especially I think towards the very end where he had that very close call. I think he should have shot that with it like further out. I mean, there's plenty of way. He could have chipped them, fake shot, X square, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But it's like
Maradona around the keeper.
So frustrating. Yeah, or just pick it up and throw it in. Yeah, rainbow. There you go. That would have been sick.
Yeah.
But it's so.
But
so
it's hard
close.
it's hard to be mad at him though, because he got like two goals that he really shouldn't have. Like he really shouldn't have scored either of those first two.
Absolutely.
So it's like,
and like you said before, like he's been putting in goals when the main guy has not.
Yeah, and setting people up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Um, I got a note here where it's at the end of the game. Well, since you went, I'll ask you here. It's a two-parter, but there's a lot of boos from the fans at
Oh
the
yeah,
end of the game.
it's
Uh,
reminiscent of the Atlanta game.
yeah. So one, were you booing? Did you
Listen,
join?
I can't disclose my. That's
How
like
dare you?
asking a woman her weight. All right, can't talk about that. Listen, I had a couple of beers. Of course, I booed. I was feeling it.
Yeah. I mean, I could understand that. I
It was
mean,
mob
riding
mentality, man.
such a high, and then ended up with a lot. Yeah, yeah. I could. I don't know if I would have booed, but
It is funny though how quickly expectations change because going into the game, I was expecting like a 4-0 loss or something. Like
right,
I was like, oh, we're gonna lose, but I'm just gonna be here for a good time. And then we
right.
get the first goal, and I'm like, oh my god, at least we're gonna make it competitive. And then we get the
Yeah.
second, and I'm like, they can win this, man. And like the way they were
Mm-hmm.
playing, um, and so it is kind of funny to be mad at them for tying when I was expecting it, like because they beat, essentially they performed past my expectations, but little did they know those expectations changed very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably, the halftime break there was probably just nothing but good vibes all around and
Yeah, man,
high
people were going
fives and
crazy. Everyone was surprised.
yeah,
Like,
shots all around
yeah,
type of deal. And then it's just like, nah, you don't get the win.
yeah. I did get
It,
a
it
Marvel coin though, so that was good.
you should have thrown it at the field.
Oh my god, dude, it's heavy. That might like kill someone.
You
It's like a
should have wrote
ninja
on there
star.
Latanzio out and thrown it at him.
I did see someone was making more of those shirts. I was like,
Nice.
keep me
Maybe.
posted on what sizes you guys have. If you want to sponsor the podcast, I will wear one.
Maybe we'll get like a scarf. One of those.
Yeah. What? So
Um,
let's wrap up with that. I mean, now that we're 22 games in, you think he gets a season 2, or do you think at the end of this it's over?
Ooh, I don't
Because
know.
I don't think they're gonna fire him.
Before we get
anytime
into
soon.
that, I was gonna ask you, do you think the fans expected too much out of Charlotte playing Cincinnati, or is tying the number one Eastern team a fair result, even though they're one man down? You
Yeah,
think?
I think it's all in context, right? Like the one man down thing with 17 to play and you can't get a goal. And the way
Mm-hmm.
they were playing too was like so slow and like pretty much in our own half. Like we were like we didn't really threaten that much at all when we had the man advantage. So that was frustrating.
Yeah.
And I think if you asked most people and if they were honest, I think they would tell you like going into the game they were expecting a loss and hoping for a tie.
Right.
But I think it's just the way the tie happened that it was frustrating. Um,
Absolutely.
and again, like in a vacuum, like if you were to tell me at the beginning of the season you're going to tie the number one team in the conference, I'd be like, okay, that's good. I'm happy with that. But in the context of the whole season, like it's going to be your 5th tie in a row, and then before that, you're going to have lost 2 games, and it's going to be, the 3rd or 4th game where you have the lead and then end up tying or losing.
Yeah.
That is like the frustrating part because, like, how many games have we had the lead and lost or tied? Like St.
Too
Louis
many.
was the first one. New York
Mm-hmm.
Red Bulls twice, I believe. I think that, or maybe we didn't have a lead in that game, but like. It just so many, man. Like,
Yeah.
well, New York Red Bulls away was the one. This one, New York City FC. So right there is like 4 games where we've had the lead and not get it done.
Yeah. No, I think the boos were justified. I don't think Latanzio truly understands the morale boost this could have been for not only the fan base but the team itself.
Yeah,
Coming out, breaking the tie curse, beating the number one team, getting 3 points at home. Like this could have really put Charlotte like on a rocket ship on an upward trend.
yeah,
But it's just another day at the office.
yeah. And I guess one other thing too, like I don't know if you recall a couple weeks ago, it's probably been a couple months now when someone asked him about that Latanzio out shirt, and he said, these fans got to realize, and I'm obviously paraphrasing here and putting words in his mouth, but he said, these fans got to realize, like, this isn't Real Madrid or Barcelona, and they can't have these kind of expectations. But I've kind of like changed my mind on a little bit of that, because I feel like as a manager for that team, I feel like you should be happy that a team or that a fan base is so invested in a team that much, because I would rather have like pressure from like people wanting results, especially a crowd of like 30,000 each week in and week out, than like a team that's only getting like 6,000 fans and probably aren't that like vocal online and stuff. Like, it's got to be better for your career too to like be in a big like you're gonna get more eyes on you if you're performing well, because more people are gonna be talking about you. You're gonna have like more of a social media presence because people will talk about you. Like, I don't know. I feel like maybe he should be a little bit more grateful that the fans are like this passionate and this involved on the team. I don't know. What do you think about that?
No, I agree. I think, some of his remarks or responses to those type of questions have just been just too Ted Lasso-ish. Like, just like, I'm just kind of here for the ride, and whatever happens, happens. Got to believe, whatever. It's like, no, like, this is, we have high expectations, and the fan base is heavily invested in this team. So, and the talent is there. Like, we've seen glimpses of it. It's just not getting used properly, and he's just like, whatever. Now, I'm not saying fire him right away, but I don't want to see, like, I'm saying let him finish this season, and, maybe next season, I say I'm still with the same thought process as give him a full season next season, but that's it. Like, 3 strikes, you're out. Like, if he doesn't get us to playoffs by next season, then sayonara.
Man, I think maybe like half a season next season.
I don't want to see a mid-season firing. I think that's worse for the team. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but I don't want to see a whole other year of this either.
No, next season,
selfishly.
if he's like, if he's doing the same type of stuff next season, I'm all in on the Latanzio out thing. I'm buying, hats, I'm buying socks, everything. But I'm still saying let him finish the season, so at least I can get one full season out of my Latanzio out shirt.
I think like this season is fine. I really don't know if he's gonna come back for another. I think it's just that inexperience thing is gonna bite him in the butt a bit. I think the front office will be, but at the same time, man, I don't know. Maybe they don't care, because it kind of feels like that. Like, there's no.
They might not, because they're like, tickets are still selling.
Yeah, shirts are selling. A lot of people had that stupid Marvel shirt.
Yeah, no thanks.
And listen, if you're a fan and you had that shirt, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about other people, okay?
Yeah, the players.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think like if they do give him next season and through the first like 15 games it's the same stuff, like especially the home record, just make a switch, because I don't want to watch a whole year of that again.
Yeah. Latanzio probably has the same contract you do as with your season tickets.
Like, yeah, you didn't realize what he was signing up for.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? I didn't sign anything. Like, we have it right here. I was like, oh, you got me. I'm in for the long haul, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Although hopefully I make my money back off all these Messi tickets I'm gonna sell.
Nice.
All right, man. That's gonna wrap it up for me. Anything else you want to touch on?
No. Why don't you let our 30 fans know where they can reach us at?
So we are at offsides_CLTFC on Twitter, Instagram, and officially on Threads now as well. And then the YouTube, we are at Offsides Podcast. So usually we try to be pretty active on those during game days. Again, now that I have a kid, I'm not as active on Twitter, trying to troll people and stir conversations up.
Lame excuse.
Yeah, just very tired. Okay. But I do try to be more active during the games and talk to people about the matches and stuff while it's happening. So if you want to be a part of that, follow us there. I think something cool that we should try to do whenever we can is do a live watch along. I think that would be interesting to do. So if you guys would be interested in that, hit us up on Twitter and Instagram, and maybe we can do like a watch party kind of thing for one of the away matches. I think that could be pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got to make more of an effort to go out to some of these the watch parties that these guys kind of put out there.
Yeah, man, the games are just on so late.
Dude,
7:30 is
your
late.
dad now. Tired as being part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, we do need to make out to one of these watch parties. That'd be cool.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Okay.
And then
Well, that wraps it
also,
up.
if you're enjoying the episode, share it with a friend. I know this is a bit of a long one. Kind of ranted about a lot of things. And then if you can, just leave a review wherever you're listening to, like specifically if you're on Apple Podcasts, leaving a 5-star review and writing something out. That helps us get bumped up the charts just so more people can find us. So that would help us out a lot. But other than that, we will see you guys next week when we take on Montreal.
Bye.
Wow, wow, wow. You got to love that.